Hello, today I'm going to demonstrate some of the new features and functionality of AD HelpDesk 3. We've got lots of good stuff to show you, but just to demonstrate some of the basic functionality that we have the one click to find locked accounts. Very useful, and just as easily we can unlock the account. You'll notice this attribute editor display has a lot of attribute values. We'll go over that more in a minute, but you can still reset passwords just as easily. See the password update right there. This is a new functionality. You can move or rename any object. All objects have this move or rename value. You just search, if you're going to move the object, you search for a new location and then you apply and the object is moved. Just as easily, I could go down here and rename the object. Say, let's rename Jane Janet. Go ahead and apply that, and that'll change your common name, part of the DN. There's other name attributes you might be interested in changing, and that's the notification telling you, things like display name and first name might not have been changed. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that here. So you can scroll down, and here's our single value string attribute editor. Change that name to Janet. A little farther down here you can find the first name right there. You can change that as well. And if we find the user again, you'll notice that Jane has become Janet Doe, but there's also multiple users that are Does. An interesting thing that we've also added is the ability to find any object type. So you can see we've got computers in here, objects, that users, plain old objects, and if you look at these search results, any of these search results, there's a domain component of the search result, and you'll notice that in my test environment here, you'll find users from implebits.com or sub.implebits.com. Here I'm looking at an organizational unit, a new feature, a container. We couldn't look at any of those things in the previous versions. So this is a more all-purpose tool now. You can find any object. You can edit attributes on any object. But also, you can create new objects. We have the ability to create new users and groups. Just to demonstrate that, why don't I'm going to find a user, delete the user with a swipe to delete. Now this is new functionality as well. You couldn't delete before, and that works on any search, on any object, or on any search result. So you can delete any object. I'll research just to show you that the user's gone. Now I'll recreate this user with the new user creation wizard. Set as password. And I'll just use this location, which is one I used previously when creating a user. The user is now created. Let's go ahead and create a group as well. Let's create a group for this user. Put it in the groups container that I have already created. And now that I have a group for him, let's add him to this group. And none of this requires a service. This is all native protocol. You don't have to make any changes to your domain controller. So let's go ahead and research for these groups, and I can find that, oh, I probably already had a group for this, so I can delete the group. So anytime there's a search result, I can swipe to delete, whether that be an organizational unit or some object that you have that is due to a custom schema extension in your domain. Just as easily you can create any of those objects, no matter what they are, because we search the schema and find out what object types are supported. So I find this location, and then I can see what object types I can create in that location. In this particular case, I'm just going to create an organizational unit. But whatever you could create due to the scheme extensions in your forest or domain, you can create through this for this new object creation. Now, I'm going to re-find this object. My new organizational unit, and I can now inspect it again just as I could right after I created it. And finally, I want to show you a couple of our attribute editors, specialized attribute editors. For example, here's our DN syntax attribute editor. If the attribute has DN syntax, it'll give you a search view. You can search for a DN, and it'll populate the DN like the assistant there. Make Mr. James the assistant to Mr. Howard. This is the multi-attribute editor view. You can add values to multi-valued string attributes, like alt security identities here. This is a good one because it doesn't really matter what I put in here. Good one to demonstrate. I'll put a couple in here, a couple values. And I can just as easily remove one if I want, leave it a single value, in which case I can see it here. There's the time-based. So if you have an account expiration attribute, you can go ahead and set the account expiration or unset it if you'd like. And you've seen the single value attribute editor multiple times, so that's about it for now.